Sony for me has always been the epitome of innovation, a company that continuously churned out must-have devices such as the Trinitron TV, the world's first personal audio player, the Walkman, and the compact disc, which revolutionized the music industry. When I first heard the news of Sony making a portable gaming console, I was super excited. I had to get my hands on one of these.
To celebrate 10th anniversary, I have brought very special news that I would like to share with you today. There's going to be a new baby within the family. It's not a PlayStation 3. Okay. Sony Computer Entertainment will be launching new handheld entertainment platform in 2004. The name of this new platform is called PSP. Yes, PlayStation Portable. He will bring you a new style to enjoy entertainment. He is the Walkman of the 21st century. Thank you very much for attending this meeting. Enjoy E3.
I remember back in the day, we only had exposure to Nintendo handhelds, the Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, Nintendo 3DS, etc. As I got older, I slowly grew out of playing Nintendo games. Maybe it was just me, but I felt Nintendo games were getting childish. I was in awe when I first saw what the PSP was capable of, a handheld that could do it all. Web browsing, Skype, listen to music, and even take pictures. What attracted me the most was the games this sleek console was able to play. You had games like God of War, Final Fantasy Crisis Core, which looked absolutely stunning. The original PSP, released in 2004, had a 4.3-inch screen. Back in the day, the graphics on this thing was amazing compared to its competitors. The console feels premium from front to back. You have your standard headphone jack, SD card slot, and Sony's bespoke UMD drive for games and movies. The buttons are durable. I've owned this PSP 2000 since 2008, and all the buttons are still as good as new. In my opinion, out of all the PSP models, I feel this particular one is the most ergonomic. You could game on this for hours without feeling tiredness in your hands. Here we have the PSP Go, a smaller version of the original PSP with a 3.8-inch sliding screen, released back in 2009. As you can see here, the PSP Go is absolutely tiny. It's pretty much the same size as my iPhone X, so you can easily put this in your pocket. Sony ditched the UMD drive and opted for a 16GB of internal storage. Unless you modify your Go, games devoured the storage faster than Usain Bolt. A couple new features on the Go included a built-in microphone and Bluetooth connectivity. I felt this console was just a bit too small for my liking. It always felt uncomfortable as it feels like your fingers are fighting with each other. This console was sadly discontinued only 2 years after release. This was released during the era where smartphones started to dominate. Most people simply could not find a decent reason to fork out an additional $250 for a handheld to play games that one could play on a smartphone. Also, with the removal of the UMD, people could only download games online. Back in 2009, the internet speed was horrendous. By the time you finished downloading a game, it was time for bed. With hindsight, PSP Go may have held itself a lot better in an era with fiber optic internet speed. I guess Sony was ahead of its time. Despite all its flaws, I think the PSP Go is the coolest looking handheld ever made. Also, because this handheld was discontinued so early in its life, there's not that many on the market, which makes it a good potential collectible.
Nice.
The PS Vita, the final Sony handheld made to date. The Vita was released back in 2011. The original Vita had a beautiful 5-inch OLED touchscreen. Even by today's standard, the screen still looks vibrant. The Vita has a completely different user interface to its predecessors to maximize the touchscreen capability. The Vita also has a touchpad at the back. Some games utilize this functionality, but it felt odd and impractical most of the time. However, the newly added motion sensing 3-axis gyroscope felt natural and smooth. Similar to the Nintendo Switch, the PS Vita had docking capabilities where you could link the handheld to a TV. Also, the PS Vita offered remote play, where you could access your PS4 using wireless connection, so you could play your PS4 on the go. Although useful, it did make the PS Vita feel like a sidekick, where Batman was PS4 and Robin Vita. Despite Vita's top hardware, the console shot itself in the foot with poor marketing and overlooked the power of game developers. With the new user interface on Vita, it felt the Vita lost its Sony identity of being a portable gaming beast. Instead, it was marketed as a do-it-all machine. The poor games library did not help either. The Vita really struggled against smartphones and tablets. They were the true do-it-all machines. Now in 2023, I feel the Vita has finally come out from the shadows as Sony's unwanted child. Once modified, it is capable of playing pretty much any retro game, and you would have access to almost all PSP and Vita games. These machines are super easy to mod, and there are plenty of tutorial videos on YouTube. I guess nostalgia was what made me film this video. When I looked in my drawers and found my PSP, switched it on, it felt different. The graphics seemed more pixelated than I remembered. The sound didn't seem as crisp. But my PSP never changed. I guess we must have changed. In the modern day, with the Nintendo Switch, the Steam Deck, capability of these newer consoles completely dominate the PSP in every way. But the Sony PSP still holds a special place in my heart. as it accompanied me through middle school to uni. 15 years later, the PSP is like a mini time machine that takes us back to our childhood.